So guys, thanks for coming back, having another view, and this time we're covering the non-essential hop-ups available for the DT-03T Aquroshot. Now, all the hop-ups I mentioned in the box opening video are the ones that are practical and can help if you're doing a bit of hard running with the car. They all feature around the front end, under here, the uprights, servo mount and that sort of thing, and it can add a lot of strength to the front of the car if you're going to give it some hard running, even though it's great out of the box. And everything for the DT-03T applies to the buggy as well, and the only real changes are the body mounts and the body, even the I think the width of the wheels and the offset. We'll cover that in a moment. So here's the overview of all the parts. I've done the essential ones for hard running in the other video. Please have a watch, a like, a subscribe and a share. So we're covering non-essentials, so we'll just go through them all. Now this is actually a wheelie bar from an FTX Tracer, but I'm pretty sure I can adapt that to fit the Truggy. This is a DT-02 motor heatsink plate and heatsink. This is a double fan motor mount. Whether this will fit I don't know, but we're going to have a play. These are Fast Tracks hexes for the front on the buggy and the Truggy. Bearings are in the front wheel, but these enable you to fit standard hex wheels. And I've got a blue set and I've got a black set, which are intended for another vehicle. These go under the gearbox on the rear of the chassis. Battery pin, diff out drives, lightweight shafts, sway bar set, reinforced adjusters, rear hubs, front bumper, turnbuckle set, front hub set, carbon rear and front shocks, TRF aeration dampers, springs for the dampers, rear drive cups, rear bumper and front C-hubs. So that's a pretty comprehensive set. Now these are in addition to the hop-ups I covered in the first video for this area of the car here, which are the only ones that are really needed if you're going to run hard. The rest of this really is just bling. And outside of what we're showing here, which is a lot, there's also a ball diff available, which I don't think is essential unless you were running on dirt. You might get some benefit from that if you were racing. And I feel sure that there's probably some other hop-ups I may have missed or haven't come to my attention, but this will cover all areas of the chassis, so it will replace parts here, 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 in the hubs here, rear hubs where the diff is, motor cooling, shock towers. So it's basically a comprehensive rebuild. I mean, the kit was a bargain, 120 quid, and I'll be honest, I've spent far more than that on unnecessary hop-ups. But I wanted to do a bling build, so this is going to be it. And I will run it. It won't be a shelf queen. I'll display it as a shelf queen when it first starts, but it will hit the dirt. So let's go on to the individual parts. So we've started at the back. I'm not going to say we'll follow that pattern. These are the DT-02 motor cooling options. Now, the gearbox on this car is the same as the earlier DT-02, and so it shares, you know, option parts. I think even things like the turnbuckle sets and things like that, shock absorbers, probably the hub parts, are all pretty much interchangeable. So you get a nice thick solid aluminium cooling plate. Just bring that up to the camera so you can see. This is a lovely bit of kit. This one I've been using in another vehicle. We'll turn it over and see I've abused it by trying to turn a screw in the wrong place. We're not perfect. And then when the motor, this offsets the motor out. If we look at the car here, this moves the motor out a little bit down towards here. So you've got room to get the fin on, the fan, the cooling fan on the end of the motor. Obviously, if you was going crazy and fitting a brushless setup and putting a 3660 in or a 3670, be much more motor stuck out, so a longer motor than a 550, but same diameter, same across the two holes. So you can use those type of motors quite easily. Though you'd be crazy, you'd be on the back wheels all the time. Very powerful. So that's the heatsink. People with high gearing, I understand, driving them hard, have reported motor cooling. If you look at the picture of the truck itself, you'll see that the motor is quite enclosed in this particular car. It goes back to the 540 days. And then here what there would be is there would be an exposed end bell with the brushes and everything in the fresh air, giving the motor plenty of cooling. But obviously with a silver can and with a sealed, more modern brushless motor, there's quite a lot of trapping heat in here. So if you're going to drive it hard, I would say that the motor cooling plate is a good option. You know, it's a heatsink, be it I'm able to get this fan or even a bigger one on. Right, next up we're going to cover the shocks, and there we are. This is the Tamiya Buggy Aeration oil-filled damper set. Now these were, I think, were originally marketed as TRF dampers. They were designed originally for the 501X four-wheel drive buggy, but they will basically fit any 2 or 4-wheel drive Tamiya that runs standard size CVA plastic dampers. Now on dampers, the CVAs that come with this kit, originally this had sprung friction dampers, which are rubbish, but the CVAs that now come with it, they're much underrated. The Tamiya CVA damper are a fantastic shock, and unless you're racing or looking for some bling, they perform really well. They come with a different range of pistons to change inside. You put different weight oils in them. You can get a spring tuning set specifically with the DT-03T chassis, or you could just get the DF-03 spring tuning set and play with that. That gives you 3 options. There's loads and loads of options. But if you're going to go mad on the hop-ups and you don't like the CVAs, or you want to change your CVAs, then these are sort of the top option, really. There is a damper above these called the Big Bore, but they're very difficult to find nowadays. But there is also the TT-02B stroke DF-03 damper set, which is very well priced compared to these. These are very expensive. A set of these is £100 without any extra springs. And alright, these have got the titanium coating, the black coating inside, and they've got the reinforced gunmetal plastic end caps and plastic parts, etc. But if you're just running around in a DT-03 or a DT-02, a DT-03 or a DT-03T, that was a tongue twister. You know, the CVA dampers are brilliant. Build them well, put some anti-wear grease on the O-rings so that they don't leak oil, and you know, don't crash into things and bend the shafts, and all will be good. So these are the aeration dampers. They're a piece of bling. Just while we've got them, I'll just grab you the shock spring sets. So they do a setting spring set front. Now these are still marked for the TRF 501X, and it comes with 3 sets. I think the ones in here, the red, I'm guessing red could be medium, but the little springs, I don't know if you can see, they've got little colour coding dabs of paint on them. I've not looked at the destructions to see which is which, but there's red in the middle of the pack. You would think red is medium. We'd have to Google that. There you are, you've got some homework, kids. And this is the rear set. Yeah, boring the springs, you know, but we're covered. Next up, rear aluminium bumper. It's pretty. To be fair, it'll probably be fairly strong in a crash, but you know, if you're a crazy driver, you'll probably bend it. But there's no bumper, as you can see on the kit at the rear. and this is lengthened to come out past the truggy body. It's actually for the DT-03. So nice bit of kit. These came from RC Mart all the way in Hong Kong, and they're GPM racing products. When I was looking for the hop-ups, I couldn't find them all in one shop or all in one brand, so I've got a mixture of Tamiya, GPM and Jazz Rider as well on there. So that's your rear bumper. So while we're on bumpers, let's just reach across and bring you the front. Very tiny front bumper on the kit, as you can probably see here, and this one will sort of come out this area here. I'm not mocked up the body or anything, I've not built the chassis, so we don't know whether this would stand proud of the body or be underneath it, but it's designed for the truggy, so we'll see from here. I don't know, I have a feeling this will just sit under the body. We'd have to have a look when we built it. So we're going to look at these two parts together. These are basically the C-knuckles that hold the front hubs, and then these are basically the front hubs and the steering arms. Now they're a mixture of plastic and metal on the Tamiya. Now if you look at these are aluminium. They've got bushing in. I feel sure if you wanted to find one, you could probably find a small bearing to fit there, or even a brass sintered metal bushing or something similar to go in instead. Goes in each side if you wanted ball race steering. Comes with a hardened arm to mount the or shaft if you want to mount the wheels on, and from what I understand, because of the wheels on this kit, this is longer than the different part to the DT-03 buggy one. This is, I think, listed perhaps for the Blitzer Beetle or something like that. The wheels on the DT-03 look very similar to Blitzer Beetle, so that would certainly make sense. So that's part of your front steering. Now this bit sits inside this bit. This is your upright. These are aluminium, obviously. No bearings or bushings or anything in these, but just adding a bit of strength. If you're wondering about the car, these parts go here and down through the wheel, so it gives you an idea of which parts you're replacing. So the piece you can see here with a ball joint on, that's this piece here, that's what it replaces, and the piece you can see here, the little bit of light blue, that's what these mount to give you an understanding of what you're doing on the car. They're pretty much totally unnecessary, but nice bling. So we've moved back to the rear of the car. We're looking at this area here, looking at where it comes out with the gearbox and where parts join the wheel, and underneath the gearbox in this central area here. So what we have is a selection of 4 parts. Again, probably not really necessary, just bling. The plastic parts are very big, very tough, etc, etc. They do a dog bone, an aluminium drive shaft or a dog bone, and I'll be honest, to go with these parts, and I'll be honest, I have not ordered one because I suspect that some of the universal drive shafts I have from my 4-wheel drive buggies may fit. If they do not, then obviously I'll just run with the kit ones until they wear out, which are pretty thick, tough plastic bits of metal embedded in them, so this should last a while. So to look at the parts then, going from the bottom up, these here, aluminium gearbox bridge. Now underneath the gearbox in the car here, where the gearbox mounts, there is a gap between the chassis and the rear gearbox, and it's bridged with 2 plastic plates, and these are the aluminium parts to replace them. Whether they add any strength, I don't know. They certainly won't save any weight, but they're pretty, so there we go. So looking at the picture into the wheel here, you have this, the underneath here you have the drive cups which go into the wheel, which are neither of those parts. One second, here we go. So you have the drive cups. Now these go into the hubs, and these are aluminium, but the kit ones metal and plastic combination, very much like the TT-01, if anyone's familiar with that, are probably great for the job. I think maybe UJs would be the way forward if you were going to upgrade here. And of course, if you get the UJs, then what you will need is the metal outdrives for the diff, which is this piece here, which just gives a little bit of more support and control. But of course, these are steel, very heavy. They'll slow down your gearbox spinning, they'll slow down your motor spinning. So these, unless you're running super fast motors and LiPo, etc., these are probably not a necessary upgrade. The kit plastic ones are cheap as chips, very lightweight, and probably do a great job. So we mentioned the hubs, and these are the hubs. This is the light blue bit you can just see in the picture here in the background. These are the hubs, these are the aluminium replacements. Bearings sitting here and here on the inside, and then tucked away inside the gearbox in here you have some shafts that the gears run on, and the shafts in the kit are steel, and these are lightweight steel tubes. There's nothing in the middle of them. I don't know if you can just push a thing through, and I've got my finger up, so like you see they're hollow inside. So they're lighter weight but strong, and as it says, look, DT-02, DT-03. This is a tried and tested DT-02 gearbox. So back to the front and the middle. This is a battery pin, quite self-explanatory. It holds the battery in. The kit one's plastic. You can see it on the car here, right across the middle here, and that's where it goes. A bit of bling, not really needed. Now, in the wheels, you know, if you remember, I mentioned earlier, the front wheels run a bearing in them and go onto a little shaft. Now, a lot of wheels and all the four-wheel drive wheels and tyres, combos, they have a hex drive like the rear. This is a hex drive with bearings in, which is designed to replace the go onto the shaft here, so you can replace the wheels and run any hex drive wheels. Now I'm hoping to have a little experiment with this, because I've ordered these to convert it to a 12mm hex, which is 10 scale standard, and then I've also ordered another piece, it's coming from Banggood AliExpress, whichever I ordered it from, which goes onto these and converts it to 17mm, which is 1/8 standard. And the plan is that I will run some really big wheels from 8 scale on here, probably some buggy wheels. So this is the DT-03 stabilizer set. I don't know if you've ever seen these, also known as sway bars. Real cars have them as well. And what these do is these go on the chassis. They go across here, under there, and across there, and at the front they go across here, across there, and across there. They mount to the arms and the chassis, and what they do is they apply pressure like this, left and right, and sort of equalizes out the force of the suspension. So it'll try and stop one arm dropping all the way. The sway bar will try and keep the car level. That's how these things work. They come with 2 bars. It'll be a soft and a medium, or a medium and a hard. I'm not sure how these are set up. I've not opened the instructions and had a look. If you were a proper racer, you'd get 3 different options, soft, medium and hard, but that's what comes on here. Having said that, looking at these sway bars, if you really wanted different options, I would imagine you could modify some off other cars to fit quite easily, I would think. I can't see it be an issue. So this is the full turnbuckle set. So on the kit, as it comes, if we look at the car, I've already covered the steering arms here, which are not adjustable. I've showed you the GPM ones in the essential hop-ups. Please watch my other video. We also have these top arms, which are fixed. And what the turnbuckle set is, it's replacement for these arms to offer adjustment. You can see they're threaded different ends, they're in steel, and they offer the ability to alter the camber of the wheels, so you can have them come in. If a wheel's upright like that, when you're looking at a wheel, in fact, let's grab a tyre. So for those of you who don't know, let's do camber explained. So there's your wheel. Imagine this is on the car. Now that's upright, absolutely level, 90-degree angle here, 90-degree angle down in the gap here is no camber. Now if you tilt the wheel in, which you could do with the rods, that's exaggerated, that would be negative camber, and if you tilt the wheel out, that would be positive camber. Now your camber is measured in degrees, so if this bend here is 90 degrees, you might be running 1 degree camber, maybe 2, not a lot. So that alters the way the car grips, and depending what you do to the front and the rear, it alters the front and rear grip characteristics by changing the camber. So if you are going to have a go at club racing, the Turnbuckle set is possibly a good addition. Now these long adjusters in here, I've gone mad and ordered a set of these. I don't know if you can tell on the camera that they're sort of like gunmetal-y grey, and these are a reinforced one. They're harder and slippier, etc, etc. Direct replacement, so I'm going to give it a go. I was disappointed that the Turnbuckle set didn't come with the reinforced adjusters, but there you go. But these are, as you can see on the pack, these are another TRF part, TRF 201, 511, DB01, etc, etc, and obviously they work anywhere where they've got a 5mm adjustable Turnbuckle end. So while I've got the tyre in my hand, we were looking at camber, which is in or out, and we also have toe in. Now toe in is instead of the angle of the wheel to the ground, it's the angle of the wheel this way and that way. So toe in, the wheels point in towards the front of the car, and toe out, the wheels point out towards the front of the car. So on the back, a little bit of toe in will help give you straight line stability, and most vehicles come with an amount of built-in towing, 1-2 degrees, but obviously stability like that is at the expense of forward momentum. And then on the front, you would also probably run a little bit, maybe a degree of towing as well. Different options for what you need, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. I'll probably do a video on it at some point. I'll do some research to build up my knowledge over my basics, get the correct technical terms, and we'll give you a towing video and camber video at some point. So carbon fibre shock towers, very pretty, very strong. In the front in particular, going across here on the car, they will add a lot of strength and rigidity. And of course, if you're adding the aluminium parts we spoke of in the other video and the carbon tower across, you've really strengthened up the front end, and it'll add a similar thing to the back as well. These are the Tamiya ones. They were very cheap on Plaza Japan, so I went mad and bought the Tamiya ones. But you know, a little bit disappointing with Tamiya sometimes. You know, got this lovely blingy carbon, and then you get brass ball ends and little brass fittings. These could have been steel or titanium for the money you're paying, and these could have been, you know, the blue bling. I do have a bag of blue bling Tamiya balls though, so I feel sure I'll be using them instead of these for the build. Watch this space. Just two final ones. Thank you for watching. I know it's been 25 minutes of your life you won't get back. This is a double fan aluminium motor mount using the motor spacer. I and ahhed whether I can fit this on here. I might just chuck a 3670 longer motor in and give this a try. And then this is a FTX Tracer wheelie bar set. Cost about £4. I'm pretty sure I can butcher this to fit some way, shape or form, and if I can't, I've got an FTX Tracer anyway, and I've got a spare wheelie bar. So thanks for watching. Next video will be, I think we're going to look at soldering, and we're going to look at ESC, and we're going to look at single battery leads, double battery leads, bridging plugs and that sort of thing. That's in the pipeline. And of course the TS150 ESC review, and we've also got cheapo £11 120 amp ESCs on the way to test for you and reflash the firmware, so keep watching. I'm not promoting any brands, but if anyone wants any nice tools, the hoodie ones are really nice. Thanks very much. Please subscribe, like, share with your friends. Tell everyone how wonderful I am with the honesty and no studio and rubbish camera work, but at least you get grassroots RC real life information. Thanks for watching. Cheers.